This is David with the Paranormal-Activity podcast. I wasn't anticipating to make another video so soon, but something happened a couple days ago that I felt I should go ahead and cover it now. So, every night, I close my eyes, I connect to the other side, and, I see what's around me. And of course, I see, disfigured faces and other things, which is pretty much standard. Now, this time when I had closed my eyes, I saw the wall like I did previously, but this one was different. And it started from the left and then working towards the right. And as I'm looking as the bricks are going by, like, it's panning to my right. I get to the part where it's this huge, like, opening, like a tube, and then the connection stops. And I thought, I'm sure they're trying to scare me that something's going to come out of this tube, which is possible. But then I started thinking about the bricks, and I thought there's something odd about it. So I kept thinking about it, and I noticed on the bricks, all the corners are rounded. And I don't remember ever seeing bricks like that were rounded. There was always straight edges. And I thought, well, maybe I'm making too much of a big deal. I go, but I'm going to do some research. And I'm filming this today, which is May 10th, but this happened on May 8th. So I'm doing the research, and nothing's coming up. And so finally, I did a search, and I said, has any civilization or whatever ever, built walls but rounded corners? Well, the only one that came up was Mesopotamia, and that was from 3100 to 2300 BC. That's the only civilization ever that when they did bricks, they rounded the edges. And I thought, it's probably going to be like maybe England or, China or wherever, a couple hundred years ago. But nothing came up. Mesopotamia was the only one that ever did that. And I thought, there's got to be some significance that this was the only civilization, that we've been tracking that used rounded corners on their bricks. And I thought it was going to pop up with, like at least 5 or 6 other places, but that was the only one. Every other civilization used just the straight edges. So I started thinking, well, if that's from Mesopotamia, maybe they're trying to unleash, and this is just, my guesswork, that they want to unleash something from way back then. Like when I got, I think this was almost 2 years ago, where the Shadow Man came at me, and I thought I was, that was into my life. So I'm thinking when they showed me this big opening, and it was an opening large enough that, a person can come through that, much less an evil spirit. But that was the only thing that really kind of shocked me, that I'm seeing stonework, or brickwork, I should say, that was, a couple, what would that be, roughly, I don't know, like 4,000 or 5,000 years ago, that made those kind of bricks. Because I thought, I'm probably going to bring it up, and they're going to show all these countries, and I thought, okay, no big deal. But when they showed that was a country is the only one that's ever made bricks with rounded edges, there's got to be some significance to it. So I assume that when it was painting from left to right, and they showed this large tube, that must be whatever they're going to unleash towards me. I could be, like next week, next month, tomorrow, whatever. And the other thing that was kind of ironic when I started filming this, as soon as I hit the play, the record button, some papers automatically fell on the floor. So I know there's evil, and I wouldn't be surprised if the demon's in here with me. I know there's at least some evil spirits, because lately, every time I'm starting to do something, there's always going to be a noise or something's going to fall, whatever. But, it's irritating, but that's not going to stop me. But I was just shocked when it came up that that's the only civilization that ever used bricks with rounded corners. And that was, back at 3100 BC. So they're planning something. So like I mentioned, I have a feeling it's going to get, I don't know how bad it's going to get, but I'm sure the Holy Spirit will, come and help me when it gets really bad. But I didn't really think about it because I thought, why are they showing me bricks again? So the first time I saw them, it must have had rounded edges, but it just never did. I didn't really pay attention because, okay, it's a brick wall going from left to right. Who cares? But this time, I thought there's just something not right about it. And when I went back and I replayed it in my head, I go, those are all rounded edges. I go, I don't remember ever seeing, buildings that use rounded edges. Everything just, at right angles. So that's why I decided to do the video, because I assume something's going to be happening, I would think, fairly soon. Because if they're going to the point of showing me that a second time, and then they're showing this large tube where something's going to come out, and I assume it's going to come out to come at me. And if it is, it is. But I wanted to go ahead and do this video because I start thinking about it. Sometimes I see so much information, there's times I forgot to bring something up. And that's the last thing I was going to cover. When I was laying in bed and the demon was sticking his, grew his arm like, 10 feet or whatever at me, I was embarrassed to say I was kind of scared. I should have, I had my exorcist ring on, all that, but I didn't do anything. And I felt humiliated that I didn't even do anything. So the next day when that happened, I stood by that corner, the southeast corner where almost all the evil comes out of, and I just stared at him. I mean, of course, I couldn't see anything, but I know they can see me. But I thought, I'm not going to do that again. Now, of course, I don't have the kind of power of a demon does, so if something comes at me, I'm hoping the Holy Spirit's going to help me, but I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to just sit there and lay in bed and, not make a move like I'm terrified or something, which I was, I have to admit, fairly scared, but I should have done something. And after everything I've gone through all these years, now it's coming up, on 18 years, and I didn't do anything, I felt really small, like that's the best I could do. I mean, I'm not going to run at a demon or anything like that, but at least, get out of bed, stand my ground. And it just really bothered me. So if it comes up again, I'm going to get out of bed, and I'm not going to back up or whatever. And if it comes at me, it comes at me, and hopefully the Holy Spirit will help me. But if not, well, then that's the way it goes. But I felt really embarrassed that I didn't even do anything at all. I just lay in bed like this is the first time I ever saw anything. And I've seen so much over now 18 years. I should have done something, but I didn't. But I'm not going to make that mistake again. So whatever comes out of that tube, if it's something I've never seen, I'm still going to stand my ground. If something happens, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to, that's the worst feeling, is to be scared about something, especially when I've seen so much. So it won't happen again, but I wanted to go ahead and cover this about the bricks, and then about my inaction against that demon. And I was so embarrassed, and that I didn't even make any kind of action. I didn't even stick my left hand out, got the exorcist ring. I didn't do anything. So, but I'm not going to make that mistake again. But I appreciate everyone watching. Thank you.